Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Planet Lizzdom. Yes, I wanted to say welcome, dark creatures of the night, but I just got too excited and too wrapped up in the beginning of this show. There are some souls in this world who are equally as bright as they are dark. And not only is she an astrologer, she's a tarot card reader, actress, and editor. And she is also a celebrated author who has spun many a horrific tale with the Great Lakes Horror Company. Everybody, I want you to give her a very dark and delightful welcome. Everybody, I bring to you Sephera Giron. How are you? Oh, there
Hi.
we go. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
I'm so
Oh,
happy to have you on the show this evening.
I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you, Liz. I was
Oh,
thinking when you were running the credits how you're Planet Lizzdom, but for about 20 years now, I've been Sephra's World.
that's
So
so
Sephra's
funny.
World has met Planet Lizzdom.
We have crossed dimensions.
We have. We're intergalactic or something. I don't know.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. Something that most people don't know is that, prior to the show, we always have a tech rehearsal and we hop on to kind of work out all the kinks. And I have to say, because you are you and you're so amazing and you do a lot of online streaming, you and I were able to troubleshoot our audio difficulties so well, so fast.
Yes, we did. We
Like,
can do it.
oh my gosh, guys, you don't even know. It was the sort of thing that 2 years ago, I know I would have been on the floor crying.
Oh, me too. Me too.
And instead,
Like, why isn't it working?
right? And here we were just sitting and laughing and just going, well, try this, try that. I don't know. Maybe it was honestly the greatest experience of my life. You know,
It was. Yep. Nobody yelled or cried.
no, nobody yelled or cried. Although, the night is still young.
That's true. That's true.
Now, I have had the pleasure of knowing you for probably, I would say, about 5 years now.
Yeah, probably.
Because I was actually creeping through a lot of old archives, and I was trying to think when I did first meet you, and it actually was the night that I met with Andrew and you, and we actually met the great and amazing monster Matt Patterson.
All right.
I took this
Right.
photo of the three of you. It was one of
Yeah,
the coldest days of February.
it was.
Oh my gosh, we were in Barnes and Cellars, I think,
Yes. It's,
on
yeah,
College Street.
I'm not sure what it's called. Yeah. So Peter Sellers is one of the owners of that particular bookstore. I forget who he's with, but yeah.
Very tiny bookstore, very, very cold night. But I met you for the first time that night, and I just thought you were absolutely lovely.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were fantastic as well.
You. And, I have to say, I'm such a fan of your writing. For those who may not know, tell me a little bit about what you write.
Well, I'm a horror writer, and I've been published. My very first mass market book was published in 2001, which was House of Pain, which was published by Leisure Books. And I did 4 books with Leisure. And as those who love paperback horror know, the Leisure went under. And then a lot of us hopped over to another publishing company called Samhain,
Okay.
and which had before that point been mostly a romance kind of book company. And then they hired Don Doria, who had been the editor-in-chief at Leisure. So he created a whole horror line, and I did 3 books with them, and then we killed them as well. And now Don has gone over to Flame Tree Press. But in the meantime, I've been also working on a series, the Witch Upon a Star series with Riverdale Avenue Books. So I have 5 books in that. And that's about witches, and each witch is a different sign of the zodiac. And the last book that came out is called Taurus, a hearse of a different color. And that one came out about a year ago. That's the 5th one in the series. So yeah,
I'm a Taurus. I need to read that.
yeah, you should.
I'm
Sort of riffs a
person.
bit. It riffs a bit on American Horror Story a bit. So if you like to
I
watch
would drive a hearse of a different color.
yeah, you should.
Now, what would you say? Like, I know as a horror writer, there are just so many different elements in the genre. Is there a specific kind of horror that you tend to gravitate towards writing?
Um, some people would say I'm an erotic horror writer, but I'm not even that with some of my work. Early in my career working with Dawn, we had made a actual plan or career path or whatever that I wouldn't be pegged as a particular type of writer. So my first book was a haunted house book. The second book was The Birds and the Bees with killer birds, killer bees. And the third one, serial killer. No, one was a witch with eternal life, which was a sequel to my very first published book, which wasn't my first mass market book, but a book called Eternal Sunset, which is about a witch in her 20s. And then so I wrote a book for Leisure called Borrowed Flesh, was her grown up and in her 40s, and then a serial killer book, and then goes on to, I can actually show these covers. Then at Samhain, I did Captured Souls, which is a mad scientist creating sex slaves in her basement laboratory with grants from the Canadian government. And then to riff on the Frankenstein theme, I did where do I have it? Flesh Failure. Don't mind the crappy covers because I went and self-published them after Samhain went under. So Flesh Failure is a story of a Frankenstein monster type woman who digs herself out of the grave where she was chucked, and it takes place in 1888, which is the year of the Ripper, the year of the Elephant Man, and all this really cool shit. So that's this book. So these two books were packaged together in print form from Samhain, and now they're also on the Scream app.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you like the Wall of Skulls? That's Rachel Kane is that's the copyright permission I have to give. I paid for this picture. And so these two books are together called Experiments in Terror. So it's kind of like my mad scientist thing. So you have the mad scientist or the creature. So there's both. And then the third book I did was Samhain, just to show you how diverse, because that was the original question. Then we have A Penny Saved, which is kind of like a deal with the devil, and we get to go to hell and do all kinds of kinky sex shit. So there you go.
Right.
So I'm not pegged as anything.
I love that. Now, I know I'm going to have some viewers who are asking, are all of these available through, is it Sephera, or sorry, Sephera? I keep saying it wrong.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sephera 66.blogspot.ca. Is that where they can find it?
Yeah, well, that's my blog. So there are links to most of my stuff there. I think I'm a bit behind. I'm not up on my blog as much as I could be, but everything's on Amazon, print, ebook, all that stuff. And then popular, chapters and all. Like my books used to actually physically be in chapters, but with House of Pain and Birds and the Bees, the 4 Leisure books, they were all reprinted by Crossroads Press under the Macabre imprint, but they're only in ebook right now. They're all only in ebook. They're not in print form.
Well, I have to say, I've just recently gotten into ebooks, just because I always have my phone with me, and I travel very light lately. So having the ability to read on my phone has been such a game changer.
Well, let me just pull out another promo thing here. I'm on the Scream app, which is a brand new app just for people who love horror. And since I'm going to a convention tomorrow, I had these posters made. So find it. Oh, look at the green screen.
Oh, wow.
Green up here. So find it on Scream. So Experiments in Terror is those 2 books together. And then quick, everyone, click the QR code. Yes. And you'll go right to the Scream app and you can read the first few chapters for free.
You know what, Sephera? I want to try something. Hold that up. I'm going to
I have the other one too. I have The Penny Saved as well.
I'm going to see if I can do this.
Yeah, see if it works. I hope they work.
It may be that my screen is really garbage.
But also, too, I have a green screen on, so I don't know if, and maybe it's shaking. I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to say that it's my screen, but we will definitely provide links for everybody on Planet Lizzdom so that you can actually find it. I love that you have a QR code for that, because that is such a smart thing to do now.
Yeah, that way people don't have to actually talk to me. They can just skulk on by and click their phone. I won't bombard them, buy my book, and then they have to talk to me, and when they want to just get on with the rest of the convention, So.
Well, I also find that paper just gets lost, you have a bag full of swag, and you're like, sure, you're throwing business cards in there, but guess what, buddy? They get lost.
Oh, and it's so depressing to walk around Fan Expo or this weekend I'll be at Frightmare in the Falls, and it's depressing to see all your little flyers like on the floor and in the garbage, and you know, so none of that. You click the QR code or you don't. You know, that's how it's
I had to get
this
over
year.
that so fast. You're just like, why did you throw that out? I made that for you.
That costs 5 cents each.
Yes. Well, now with the QR code, it costs you nothing.
Yeah. And it really cost me nothing because the people at Scream designed those posters for me. So I didn't even have that headache.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Scream App. Okay, you know what? Just for that, guys, get Scream App.
Yeah, it's free to download on the phone. And there's all kind. There's hundreds of authors on there, and like even some really popular, famous ones now are jumping on the Scream app bandwagon. So
that's really, really cool. That's good to know.
Yeah, they're brand new. They just launched, like they're brand new.
Wow. Yeah. Well, if anybody out there has a Scream app already, hop on and let us know what you think of it. In fact, if you have any questions for Sephera, this is the perfect opportunity. Hop on, put up a comment, and I will put it up on the screen for you.
Oh, and also if people want to win tokens, because it's one of those apps where you can read a bit for free, then you get tokens. I'm going to be on the Horror Writers Association blog. They're doing every day a horror writer posts on their blog for Halloween, and so tomorrow my blog will go up. That's what they told me anyway, so I'm presuming it's still tomorrow. And so there's a contest, and all you have to do is just comment on the blog, or even just say hey, hi, or whatever, and then you get entered into the contest for free tokens, and there'll be 3 winners.
Oh, that's very cool. I love it. And is that part of I have to ask, is that part of Blogspot?
The Horror Writers Association, I think, is horrorwriters.org. I'm bad. I've only been a member for 30 years, but I don't know. But like, it's not intuitive what the actual website is. It's the Horror Writers Association. But it's like, it doesn't say that in the URL.
I liken it to having speed dial. I'm just so used to having everything plugged in on my own devices. I just find it.
Don't ask me what my kids' phone numbers are. I don't have a clue.
I still don't have my sister's phone number memorized. To the point where the police came to find me one night because there was a situation and they needed to get a hold of her. And it was a long story. She was fine. Everything was fine. But I'm standing there in front of everybody at the end of the club night because I was working co-check at the time. And they're like, well, what's your phone number? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have my phone with me. It's on speed dial. And they're like, you don't know your own sister's phone number? I'm like, I know, I'm bad.
Who has room in the head for all these numbers? Not me.
Sephera, that was over 15 years ago. I did not learn my lesson. I still know it's only 647. I'm sorry, Monica. Sorry. But that's why, whenever I do these tap features for my card now or any of that stuff, I've started saying my PIN to myself because I will forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the other day, like on my way home tonight, I was thinking of my home phone number when I was a kid. That's ingrained in my mind because I had to memorize it.
Yep.
Everything else, meh. It's bookmarked. I'll find it. I'll Google it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I still know my childhood phone number because my parents still live in the same house with the same phones. So, well, not the exact same phone. They have a modern phone, but not the wall dial anymore.
I was gonna say, did you have the rotary dial on the phone? On it had the cord that was all tangled up.
Yeah, and then then we got a super extra long one so we could lie on the floor and roll around while we're talking to our friends.
And you hold the cord dangling while the phone like untangles.
Yeah. People just don't understand the struggle.
Oh my God. Like if you wanted to have a seriously private conversation, good luck.
Yeah, there was none of that.
None. Now it's like texting in front of somebody with like holding your screen so they don't see you. Or at least that's what I hear exciting people do. I don't. I'm not sure.
I barely left my apartment in 2 years. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit traumatized about going out tomorrow, but
Oh my God. Well, I have to say, and I ran into you at a toy show out in Burlington about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was so funny. It was so fun. We were all masked up. And I have to say that everybody was generally very good
Yep.
about social distancing,
Hmm.
health and safety protocols, hand sanitizer. People were wearing gloves. Like it was really, really organized. And I'm really looking forward to Frightmare in the Falls because I'm already reading, material where they're saying, please, you have to be masked up. These are
Yep.
the rules. You have to show proof of vaccination.
Yep. And
All of that
everything
stuff.
seems to be really, like, all the tables are really far apart and stuff, he said. So yeah, it should be good and safe and fun, and yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have to say, I know for myself, sometimes I get a little bit of agoraphobia or claustrophobia. They come and go at different times, which is just fantastic because I have to take a subway every day. But the nice thing about having a booth is that you can have some separation,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, and you do have that kind of that force field and that wall and that safety net to kind of just go, you know what, 6 feet apart,
And back.
yeah, exactly. Back off, get your own sandwich. So no, which is good. I mean, it is one step closer to normal, and it feels so good to be going to a convention. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
as a writer and a creator and an artist, are there any fellow authors or artists that you're really excited to see at Frightmare?
I haven't really looked to see who's going to be there. I'm very excited to see Andrew, who I'm sharing the booth with, because I haven't actually physically seen him and since March 2020. I was probably long before that, before I
Oh
saw him.
my gosh!
So
Great.
he's a horror writer. So yeah, I'm excited. Andrew Robertson. We're sharing a booth, and well, you'll probably talk. Well, he was on your show last week. I watched. Yeah.
Oh,
You guys are doing a lot of cool things together. And he actually, for those that don't know, he started. Oh, look at that, because it's green.
yeah. You know, I have a photo. I did take a photo. I love the green screen. It's great.
I always find it funny that you can see the skulls, but not me. There we go. There's a proper one.
There we go. I did my homework.
Yeah. So Andrew, he joined the. For those that don't know, I was the Horror Writers Association chapter head for about 27 years, and so Andrew came aboard. God, almost 10 years ago now, I guess, and
Yeah.
so we actually met at a Mysterion show. Yeah.
Oh, that's
We
so
met.
funny.
And so we got to know each other, and he started coming to meetings, and so he decided to start the Great Lakes sorry, horror company podcast. I think came first. So we were trying to do a weekly podcast about horror, and we interviewed a lot of really cool horror writers and stuff. And then he decided, he's like, why do you guys do anthologies? I'm like, no one can deal with it. No one has the energy. But he had the energy, so he went on and did 3 of these things. And yeah, and you're in the first book too. I'll show it again. Yeah, we can't see it. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
so Liz is has some artwork in Group X1.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's just a weird, crazy world how everyone gets to know each other and stuff. So yeah, so the podcast kind of wound down a few years ago, and so you guys are taking up the mantle with the Great Lakes Horror Company, because you two have put out a book now under that, isn't it under that label, right?
To the
Great
best
Lakes
of my
Horror
understanding,
Company.
yeah. And then the fart happened with the Mythimals.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll be at the convention too.
I will. I'm going to be signing that book from 2 to 4 in the afternoon on this Saturday.
Yes,
So,
yes. So that'll
because
be
I want some time to run around and see all my favorite artists at the same time, because a lot of people are coming out to this.
yes. Yeah, and Fan Expo happened this past weekend, and so I was looking at a lot of the comments and stuff from people. So people were really excited to be back out in the world, and apparently, they want to buy things and meet people and talk to people, and everybody's been like, so it'll probably be like a big burst of, oh my God, there's people, but and it sounded like everyone was really respectful at Fan Expo. So I'm hoping, Frightmare in the Falls I've done it, I think, 3 times now, and it's a really good convention. It's not crazy like Fan Expo.
Yeah.
Like it never was just as crowded, because it's still a very new convention. And so I'm expecting it to be really good, because the people that come out are super horror nerds. Like they love their horror and they're just right into it. They want horror and that's it, you know.
I love it.
That's what we like.
Now, with that genre of, and that level of fandom, have you come across anybody that's been really, really enamored or just in awe or just crazy when they've met you?
Well, I've had a few instances over the years where, yeah, like people will ask me for my autograph, and those, they're like trembling and crying like I do when I see Mark Hamill or someone, and I'm like, what the hell? It's just me.
Oh, I love that.
But it makes me feel so good, of course, obviously, because I'm vain. But yeah, it feels so good to be, where people say, I've read this book so many times, and I'm sorry it's so ratty, but I just keep reading it. And I'm like, I don't care if it's ratty. I mean, you've read it, and I'm happy to sign autographs and things. And yeah, it's great when I meet fans who have read my work and talk to me about it and all that. So if anyone ever sees me at a convention or anything, I'm pretty friendly. I think you can see that. So just come up and talk to me. And
that's awesome. And you know what? I mean, here's one of my favorite photos of you at a convention. You're with a young fan.
That is Greg Lamberson. Actually, you can see Greg right in the background there. That's her dad. I think. I don't have my glasses on. It might be Greg. Yeah, so that's Kaylin Lamberson. And that's Greg Lamberson's daughter. And Greg was the director, filmmaker, producer, writer, all that for Slime City Massacre, which I had a role in as Ruby. And then he cast me again in Killer Rack, which was written by Paul Guinness, and he was the director, producer, whatever on that too. And Kaylin is in both those movies as well. And actually, Greg and Kaylin, that picture wouldn't have been at Frightmare. That was probably a fan expo picture, but yeah, that Greg was a special guest at Frightmare a couple of years as well ago. And Kaylin's now like a lot bigger than that. She's like a teenager now. Oh my God.
They grow. That is not allowed to happen.
She's probably taller than me when I see her again. I'll probably stroke out. I'll be like, what happened? What happened to the little kid in that picture?
They are not arrested in our memories. They do grow. Even within a year, they grow.
Yep, I know. I got 2 of them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of growth, I have to pay the bills and play a few commercials, but we will be right back, guys.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, Planet Lizzdom now has a Patreon. Your help will allow Liz to make the show even bigger, cover costs, and help bring on celebrity guests. Go to patreon.com/Planet Lizzdom and pledge now.
Oh. I forgot it's only 15 seconds. It will play now and I shall be slapped on the wrist later, and I am fine with that. I don't care. Oh, thank you so much. The Magnificent Kaboom says, Top Shelf, keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
This particular wonderful artist is a new friend of mine that tunes in every week, so thank you so much for that. You are Top Shelf as well, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, with every convention, obviously always comes adventure. Have you had any, experiences where you just didn't see that coming?
What do you mean?
Like, you may have run into an artist that you really like, or Darth Vader came along, and
Darth Vader's always there. Yeah.
It's a convention. Anything can happen.
Hey, Monica. Hi.
Oh, hi, Monica. Thanks for joining us.
All the way from New York.
Oh, no way. Welcome.
Yeah, Monica's a horror writer as well. And we've been to a million conventions together. And actually, I took my younger son to see her in New York City for 4 times. We stayed at her place and crashed on her couch. And then she took us all around New York City. So, yeah. So, yay, Monica.
Very cool. Well, she's saying hi. Hi. Well, I'm really glad I played the Ramones then.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, do you find do you find when you come to conventions that you bring a lot of material, or have you really kind of streamlined what you bring with you?
Well, it depends on the convention, right? So a convention like Frightmare or Fan Expo, they're like fan conventions. Yes, we absolutely have a blast, Monica. I miss you so much, Monica. I haven't seen her in like 5 years or more in real life. Um, so there's the type of convention where we have a booth and do things, but the conventions I enjoy even more are um, there used to be World Horror Convention, and now there's the StokerCon convention, and those are really top-notch conventions where it's mostly writers and editors and publishers and agents, and y'all get together. Fans can come too, but it's not like a costume con or anything. It's more like business con, but we do panels and you talking about things for new writers and old writers and all the different levels, and a lot of deals get done and friendships. That's how I met Monica, was at Nikon. And so a lot of I love my favorite conventions used to be, but they don't exist anymore, were World Horror, Horror Find, and Nikon. And now World Horror, like I said, kind of has disappeared, and now StokerCon takes its place. And StokerCon's a great thing too, but StokerCon is put on by the Horror Writers Association. So a lot of people get confused thinking that you have to be a member of the HWA to go to StokerCon, but you don't. It's for everybody. Anyone who likes horror, come on in.
Okay.
So those are the really good ones. And then there was a convention, writers retreat. I've gone on a couple of cool writer retreat ghost hunting combo deal type things. One was at the Stanley Hotel, which is the hotel where the Shining was inspired, right? Stephen King. So so there's a pack of us that went there, and so the organizer of the retreat stayed in that room 237 or whatever, and then would get to bid on spending time in there or going there or whatever. And it's haunted. I did tarot in the lobby for a couple people, and yeah, I couldn't sleep. It was woo. It's haunted, let me tell you. And then there was another writers retreat where a bunch of us went to California. We went 2 years, and not in a row, but like went 1 year, missed a year, then went another year. And it was this kind of mansion retreat thing in up in the hills in California, just outside of San Francisco somewhere. And the first year there were 13 of us. The second year I think there were 20 or so. Yeah, so that was, and we brought in real ghost hunters. Like that's what they do. And that place was so haunted. And there's websites of the stuff that happened there. And actually my friend who organized it, Rain Graves, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Rainy.
Oh, happy birthday.
But she's super psychic Scorpio, right? And she's the one that discovered this place because she had to go there for something and had all this weird shit happen to her. And she and I shared a room, and all this stuff was happening. Well, I'm getting so excited, I'm knocking my screen around. So we shared a room, and we had she woke me up the first night going, Sephera, there's something in the room. And I'm like, I'm not opening my eyes. We'd already been freaked out with so much crap happening. And
oh yeah,
this thing came through our room every night. We called it the Black Mass. And it would roll through the room every night, and and we picked the smallest room possible so that we wouldn't get freaked out, but we were together, and then something grabbed my foot, but she's way over there, it's like 1 foot away in her bed. And I'm in my bed. I'm like, don't touch me. I didn't touch you. So all this, it was crazy. And she put the recorder on while we slept, and there were voices all around us, little kids laughing at us. And like it was, and this place is up in the middle of nowhere. It's not like there's a subdivision of children playing, and and then and each time we went, we wrote an anthology about it. So the first time, so the second year, so the anthology is called The Haunted Mansion Project, book 1 and book 2. You can find them on Amazon. So half the book is real things, and then half the book is fictional stories inspired by our stay kind of thing, right? And so the second time we went, someone was asking me for a tarot reading about the first time we went, and I actually tell this story on the Scream. Remember, we were talking about Scream earlier on the Scream app. Go to their YouTube channel, and I tell the story of this really freaky night we had at that mansion, but I won't waste time telling it now. And yeah, so I've had some really weird things. Yeah. I forget how we started. So there's different types of conventions and gatherings and that sort of thing, I think is my point.
Now, I'm always curious to ask everybody, like, I am a big fan of Genesis moments. Was there a particular moment where in your childhood or at some point in your life you realized, I love horror. This is my thing?
Oh, yes. Yes. I know my inciting incident moment, as I call it in screenwriting, of when I wanted to grow up to be a horror writer. But I will say I was often attracted to the macabre, even as a child. And one of the first poems I ever wrote was about a squirrel who got his head crushed by a car lying on the side of the road, twitching and dying. But my inciting incident, or the moment of revelation, came when I was about 14 or so, and The Shining had just come out, the book. Stephen King was, it's my age, right? But he was like the new writer and this new genre of horror. And I'd already liked dark and weird stuff anyways. And so I was reading The Shining, and my bedroom was in the basement of the house. And so I got the book, and I'm sitting there reading, and my parents had come down, like, you should go outside, like, have a life, go do something, like, go out and play. Like, I gotta read this book. And I was so terrified. I could not stop reading that book until I had to find out what happened. It scared me so badly, especially the hedge animals, which wasn't even in the first movie, but that was the part that tripped me out the most. And finally, after 2 days, I closed, I've read to the end. So now I know where all the ghosts are, so they're not going to run into my room. That was the point, right? And then I shut the book, and I just said, when I grow up, I want to be a horror writer and scare the hell out of people the way Stephen King just scared the hell out of me. And so that was my moment of, I'm going to be a horror writer.
That's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, there is something very delicious about messing with people's minds.
Yeah. There is.
Absolutely. And I mean, we have a lot of paranormal activity in our house here.
Yes, you do.
This bathroom is incredibly cold today, and I've been heating the entire house, but everybody's curious and excited, and I always have a little chat with everybody. You're more than welcome to join the show. Just don't mess with my tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, you can touch me. I don't care. Fly around, make things move. Just don't mess with my tech.
Yeah.
Because I've had that before, and I'm like, no. I mean, I'm messing with my audio or the lights or the feed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just behave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had everything from feeling a little girl's hand on my back. I've seen the shadows and seen the things fly. For a while, something was just flinging our drinks around all the time. So we started. I'm not even kidding. We drink out of these now.
So you don't have. Oh, that reminds me. When I was in New Orleans at StokerCon, it was still called World Horror back then, and I shared a room with Kim Richards and her husband, and we had separate beds. So Kim and her husband had gone off for dinner or whatever. So I was getting ready to go party on Bourbon Street or whatever, and so I was in the bathroom, and I thought I heard something in the bedroom, and so I thought they had come back. I mean, like, it's a hotel room. Like, it's not a down the hall. Like, you're right there. It's a tiny room. And I was like, shit, man. Like, that was trippy. And then so I went and started getting dressed, and I'm putting on my corset and stuff. And then something just pushed me hard that I stumbled, like, on my shoulder blade. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And I went, the Hotel Monteleone is very haunted. I saw so much stuff there. Another time I was up on the top floor with someone, and we were watching the sunrise and stuff. And we both saw, like, someone at the end of the hall that was there, but then they weren't. Like, you blink and they're gone, that kind of stuff, the shadows. A lot of that at the Stanley, well, everywhere. Lizzie Borden house I've been to.
Oh.
That was a writer's retreat, but I stayed overnight there 6 or 7 times. And there's so much stuff at the Lizzie Borden house. It's insane. It's
Wow.
terrifying. I never believed in any of this stuff till it started happening to me. So
Yeah,
I listen to other people. Yeah, whatever. Tell me about the ghost knocking over your glass of water. Yeah, whatever. And then it happens to me. Yeah, no, I believe you. So that's why I'm not raising my eyebrow at you, Liz, because I know.
Oh, yeah. And here's the funny thing. I know for myself, sometimes I'm totally okay with it. I'm just like, ugh, so annoying. Like, I have to clean that. If I'm going to be late for work, there's hell to pay. Because I've had things ripped off the wall and things broken. I'm like, that's great. I have to sweep this up. That was really convenient. But there have been other times where I have actually been really unnerved or felt very, felt some terror. I was at a very old hotel in Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, on the border of I think it was Germany, and it was a very, very old hotel. And it wasn't until I walked into that room that I realized why I got such a great price on that room. It was not nice.
The murder room.
I did not sleep the entire 3 nights I was there. Something was racing around the room and tried to grab me and touch me, and it was just everybody like at the hotel was just like, here's your keys. And I was just like, okay, so it's haunted. Thank you so much. And I mean, I don't speak Belgian. My French is terrible. And whatever it was not having it like at all. It was just like, oh, you're aware of me, And I actually felt, even now, just remembering it, I felt very, very uneasy because I was like, I am out of my element here. I'm dealing with something that I've never dealt with before.
Yeah.
So, will I be returning back there? Maybe.
I know, because then it's like, oh, I live in an old nursing home and school for nuns. Lots of crazy stuff. Yeah. Actually, the Humber South campus used to be a street legal offices. Then it was, before that, it was the asylum, the psychiatric hospital. And so I've been on the tunnel tours. I don't live far from it now currently. So I've been on the tunnel tours a couple of times, and I've just walked through there. You can just feel, even just like, I work at the other campus of Humber, but so I can have access to the buildings at the South campus, some of them, with my card. So sometimes I'll walk through and I'll be like, whoa, I'm glad I don't work in these buildings. It's like a lot of stuff happening in these buildings. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I worked at Supermarket Bar and Restaurant in Kensington Market. I would go to the basement to do the cash out at the end of the night, and I would just feel sheer terror because I would feel something right behind me watching me over my shoulder, but it was just me down there.
Yeah.
I've never done cash outs faster in my life.
Yep.
Let me tell you, I'm like, bang. Is it right?
Yep.
And I don't care what anybody says, like, even if it's your first time or your 50th time dealing with the paranormal, sometimes it is just not cool. Your survival instinct kicks in, your fight or flight is there, and you're just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that.
Yep.
Everybody thinks it was all sunshine and roses for Eileen Warren, but it was not.
No, it was not.
No.
Well, maybe it was for her because the jury's out on whether she made up a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't go near that doll. The original Raggedy Ann. Raggedy Ann was a creepy doll anyways. I had one.
Yeah. Always be respectful of the doll. Actually, I would love to see Robert the doll. I would absolutely love to see Robert the doll. I would ask very nice permission to take his photo. But I would be interested to see it, just to lay eyes on it.
Yeah. I'd like to go check out that museum.
But I can't stress it enough. You got to be respectful of these things. Like, if it's a voodoo altar, if it is a cursed item, if you were being warned to, tread carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a certain element of realism to these things. Some of it is all, in the mind, not entirely, but, there's things that we don't necessarily know. And I am a skeptic actually at heart, believe it or not. If I can debunk.
So am I. That's why I get doubly freaked out. I think it's worse when you're a skeptic and something crazy happens, because you try and analyze it. And that's what was so great about the ghost hunters that came to the haunted mansion, because one of them actually worked at NASA. I think she still does. And so you got real scientists who, and their thing was that they're trying to debunk. They weren't there to chase ghosts. They were there to debunk. And they were the ones that were analyzing all the audios and stuff. And yeah, it was crazy. So they showed us how to look at orbs. They showed us how to figure out if a photo is fake or real, or to hear a sound, if it's like an airplane or something from down the street, or a passing bus or whatever, or, so we had actual, both times we went, they gave us like an hour-long lecture on how to ghost hunt or not, or how to debunk, you're freaking out thinking, oh my God, it's an orb, and it's really a fly, and how you can tell, and so on.
Well, I really love to debunk, because you're right. It makes what you can't explain so much more meaningful.
Yep.
And there are some things that I've experienced that I can't explain, and I have so much appreciation for it.
Yeah, like I have so many things at the Lizzie Borden house I cannot explain. And I won't even get into them because we don't have time for that today. But yeah, there's some things I can't explain.
Now, having experienced what you have, has it helped you with your writing? Have you used any of it in your writing?
Oh, I use all of it. Yeah.
I love that answer.
Everything. Yeah,
so, research and development.
Pardon?
You're doing research and development.
Exactly. But yeah, it seems like, like I said, with that haunted mansion place, we actually wrote books about it. Then with the Stanley Hotel retreat, there was an anthology being made about our experiences there, but it still hasn't come out. It's been like 7 years, so I'm thinking that's not going to happen. And then where was I going? Then I've written a couple of stories about the Lizzie Borden house, and it's kind of, and then my Witch Upon a Star series about the 13 witches living in Salem. That's not Salem, it's called Hermana. So I put a lot of Salem and Lizzie Borden, and all my New England kind of creepy stuff that happens to me goes into those books, because it's New England, and that seems to be where the hauntings happen,
I know it never seems to happen in, Tahiti.
I've never been, so I wouldn't know.
Girls are never wearing juicy couture. They're always wearing, beautiful petticoats and flowing nightgowns.
Yeah.
Actually, I did have a visitation from a very old lady in her bathrobe once, with her hair all, it was the most real thing I've ever seen, because I was like, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, I always like to ask people, because there was like before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, and you have this wonderful Twitch channel. And guys, I do encourage you to check out Sephera on Twitch. Here, I think I've got the right address here. No, that is not it. I'm too excited. I don't know where I'm looking. Okay.
Sephera 666 is what it is.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
But sure, follows work too for things. Follow them all.
See, this is the beauty of live to air. When you are the producer and the host, anything can happen.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, that's it. Sephera 666 on Twitch.
Honestly, I am so impressed by what you have accomplished in this time, because you're really taking into your own hands, and you're doing all these amazing things.
Yeah, I did 3 readings. Last night was the last one of, they all ended up being Edgar Allan Poe things. And so last week I was thinking maybe Poe was mad at me because my stream kept freezing and stuff, but I debunked it by knowing I just have shitty internet. And then last night, I don't think it froze at all because I didn't populate it out to 14 platforms. I just stayed on Twitch and did Twitch, and it was just Twitch. So that was that. And it was, yeah.
Well, I absolutely love that you're doing that, because it is such a great it's a great new platform for artists and creators and writers, and a great way for everyone to still get to know you in a more intimate setting.
Yeah, Twitch is interesting. My younger son, Dorian, got me told me about it like about 14 years ago. He's been watching Twitch because he loves to, he's a dancer, but he also likes to game.
Yeah.
So then we both launched our channels about the same time, about 5 years ago. And so he was doing a lot of tap dancing on his channel, but artist stuff just doesn't really work very well on Twitch. So he does more gaming, and he's on there pretty much every day. He just had a 700 follower special where he does tap dance and stuff, and he's doing all these Halloween costumes and stuff over the Halloween. He has all these like he's way better at this working this Twitch thing than I am. He's got like viewer incentives and a Discord and a schedule. All this stuff. Yeah. So I'm learning from him, like all the little tweaks and this and that. But yeah, I'm not as dedicated to my Twitch channel as him, but I do try to hit it. And yeah, so I thought I'd try doing a few Halloween readings, and I've done readings on the channel before. And I do gaming. I don't game a lot. That's one thing I learned during these, these times we're in. I don't know if we're allowed to say it out, the word. So the last year and a half, I actually learned how to play video games. I'd never played before, even though both my sons are huge gamers. But I knew if I ever sat down to play video games, I'd never stop. And it was true. The first game. So I play games now and again on the channel, but I'm really bad because I'm new, right? I don't know what's happening. So, but yeah, so you can come and laugh at me while I do that too.
I'm a terrible gamer. I'm really good at watching and helping solve puzzles. I like to joke that I invented the Wii because I would go like this, green. It should jump.
Yeah, really.
You have to press a button. I'm like, but I want him to jump.
Yeah, exactly. Read my mind.
Does it even exist anymore? I don't know. I'm kind of a little out of touch there.
Does what?
Wii. Nintendo.
Yeah,
Wii.
it does.
Does it?
Dorian has all of the systems, and yeah, he just got a game during the pandemic for his Wii. So,
That is something I just haven't really. I mean, I'm a great button masher, but that's just not something that I was able to get into.
Oh yeah, like I'll go to his place and play, and even before the pandemic, he's always trying to get me to play games, and don't be a button masher, Mom. You gotta pick and choose and aim, and I'm like, it's gonna kill me.
I am a great remote smasher. Like I'll just throw it on the ground and be like, out of here. Now, are there any things on your radar that you are looking to, like, what sort of projects are coming up for you down the pipeline?
Well, during this last year and a half or so, I've been revisiting my screenwriting roots. I did go to school for screenwriting, but my novel career broke before my screenwriting career did. So I was trying to break into both around the same time. And then I had children and stuff, so it's way easier to be a novelist because we know in the film business, you have to get out there and schmooze and all that. So now I'm entering my next career as screenwriting. So the last year and a half, I'm watching 1 million webinars and this and that, and writing screenplays and TV pilots. So I'm really hoping, over the next year that they'll be in good enough shape to start shopping. So if any agents or managers are watching that want to take on a horror writer, but actually I have comedies because I love comedy. So I have horror and comedy and horror comedy.
Okay.
And then I'm just finishing up a book. The working title, and I'm not sure what I'm actually going to call it, but right now it's called 4 Witches and a Dude. And it's kind of like my Witch Upon a Star series, where it's like witches and crazy, it's just fun. It's fun and funny kind. It's not the deep dark horror like A Penny Saved or things like that. And then I'm also working on a horror novel that's real horror as well. And yeah, so I'm always writing, always doing stuff, always. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific, but no, just that book, which I'm going to finish up this month, should be out at some point.
Awesome. Well, as soon as it comes out, let me know. I will happily promote it. We'll bring you back on and we'll talk about it, because I feel like there's 1,000,001 more conversations that we can have, because you are just such a delight to talk to and a wealth of knowledge. And man, you have an adventure for every subject. Like pick a topic, you've got an adventure for it,
Well, life is for living, right? Like, It's like the song, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play, right?
Oh, I love
Life
it.
is a cabaret, old chum.
You know what? That is the best advice. You're absolutely right. And, you know, I look forward to seeing you at Frightmare in the Falls. Guys, I think there are still some tickets left. So go to Frightmare in the Falls, Google it. You can find the actual URL. But, you know, you can get your ticket in advance. Just make sure that you bring your proof of vaccination and your money, because you'll
Yep.
want to throw it at everybody. Bring your money, because trying to use a bank machine, not going to be fun. I know that Andrew was telling me yesterday that you guys have Square Pay.
Yep,
So you have
and
options.
hopefully we'll learn how to use it.
Well,
I've never even seen it. So yeah.
Sephera, I think if we could figure out or sort out an audio situation, we can figure out Square
We
Pay.
can learn how to take money on an app.
Absolutely. I am really good at taking money anyway. I will figure it out.
Exactly.
Sephera, you're a flippin' delight. Thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight. And I look forward to seeing you in person.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz. And yeah, it's going to be great to hang out on Saturday.
I cannot wait. I'm not going to sleep. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Oh, I've had so much fun with you, Sephera.
I've had a lot of fun with you too. Thank you for having me on. This was
You're
great.
very welcome. And I'm going to say it Sephera. I will say it properly if it's the last thing I do.
I know it's a tough one. Blame my parents. It's not a name. People think I made up the name. It's like, nope, blame my parents. They're probably watching. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I got it right. Be well, darling. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night. And I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It is always such a joy to do this show for you and with you. I know lately that there's not a lot of comments going on because you guys are so engaged in the show. So that in itself is a huge compliment. I'm really happy to say that, you know, we are syndicated on Carney Show on Twitch. It has now been moved to Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I highly recommend you check it out. Jeff with a G is making some really great content. I was watching The Devil's Hour last night, and it is excellent. I'm learning about a lot of new bands and art genres that I absolutely love. So please go check them out. Any of our past episodes, you can see on The Carney Show on Twitch on the East Coast in New York. If you love what I'm doing, please feel free to send me a little love at my Patreon /Planet Lizzdom. With your help, you know, it's enabling me to pay for my internet, for my StreamYard, to upgrade my camera and my microphone and all these other wonderful things. So with your help, Planet Lizzdom is growing, and I really, really appreciate it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will be at Frightmare on the Falls on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. signing copies of the book that I have created with Andrew and the Great Lakes Horror Company and Dennis, who is the wonderful, wonderful other artist who did all the layout and everything. I have to give him credit. And in the meantime, I want you all to keep tuning in and turning on and taking part, because you truly never know just who is going to land right here on Planet Lizzdom. And we've got some really great guests lined up for the rest of fall and for Christmas. So guys, be well, take care, have a very happy Halloween, and I'll see you all at Frightmare in the Falls on Saturday. Good night, everybody.